Hi guys, it's Mrs. C here with Cycle 1, Week 20. Can't believe we only have 4 weeks left, but it is just flying by. So let's jump right in. So for geography today, we had the Dominion of Canada, and I brought in Smarties for the kids because we've been gone on spring break, and I just thought it'd be a fun way to start our class back. When I was prepping last night, I was watching it on the app and I was watching the geography. I just always like to listen to the pronunciations, making sure I'm saying it right. But I didn't pay attention to how small it is on the trivium table, and the Smarties were a little large. So this part of the trivium table is not blown up, so you might find something smaller than Smarties, or you can just do what I did and we just crammed them all on there and it was fine. So what I did today was we said Ontario, then Quebec, and then we said Ontario, Quebec, and then I had them put a Smartie on Ontario and a Smartie on Quebec. And the Smarties are nice because they're round and they're like just the size of their fingers, so we were like pressed it like a button. So we pressed the button for Quebec and pressed the button for Ontario. Then we did New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, and we said those a couple times, touched them, and then we put Smarties on them. So then we went around and went Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and just kind of changed it, going around and tapping our fingers onto the Smarties, and then I let them eat all the rest of them. So while they were finishing up eating their Smarties, we went and did our math. So our math, I forgot, I think last week I said that we were ending our song, but we're not. I forgot we had circumference. So our song so far is called the Geometry Song. If you look up Classical Conversations Geometry Song, you will find someone who has done the song with some little graphics for the whole, I think it's weeks 13 through this week. She might even have some for the other ones, but, or not week 13, week 14 through this week. So, but we have, so far we have the area of a rectangle equals length times width. The area of a square equals length of its side squared, side squared. The area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. The area of a circle equals pi times the radius squared. And then today we learned the circumference of a circle equals 2 times pi times the radius. So the circumference of a circle equals 2 times pi times the radius. Since we don't say pi is equal to 3.14 in the song, before I started out, we just said pi equals 3.14, 3.14, 3.14, and tried to say it really, really fast to get it in there. I had them stand in a circle. They were done eating by that point. I had them stand in a circle and we spread out, and I said, they were on the outside, and that's the circumference. So we're learning the outside, how big the outside of the circle is. So we just sang that part over and over again as we walked around in a circle. So that's what we did for math. Then we went over and did science. I had brought my agility ladder, and I have people often ask me what is an agility ladder. So I will show you what it is because I brought it in today. I bought this off of Amazon. It was less than $10, I think. And you can use it for all kinds of stuff. So it is just a ladder. I don't have the end of it, but it's a ladder that is made with rope or braided cord. I can find the end. Goodness, still not the end. Anyway, there's an end to it somewhere, and yeah. So you lay it out on the floor. Wait a minute, guys. I think I've got the end. All right, so you lay it out one to the other. So there's a big square that lays out, and then it just collapses, which is why it's all crazy like it is right now. And it collapses and goes into your back. So it's just a really easy way to like have specific spots for them to jump. They use them in sports a lot for agility, which is why it's called an agility ladder. I laid it out on the floor today. For our science, and then next to the spots on the agility ladder, I think I had one blank spot on this one because it has several rungs, And so I had one blank, and then I laid out, I got these at the dollar store really early this year, but they're little dry erase cards, and wrote the parts of the atmosphere on there. And so for each spot, they would jump, and we would say troposphere, and they would jump to the next square, stratosphere, and so on. I have found with the little ones, they like to jump as fast as they can. So today I have learned my lesson, and I stood in front of them and backed up one and made them say it as they jumped, because otherwise they just jump too fast and you can't say it. So anyway, I laid that out. We did that. Everybody got to go through, and we just did that for each kid, so they heard it all the 7 times. So yeah, that was for science. For English, then we went over, and I had the kids, well, I stood up, I had the kids sit down, and I said what a linking verb was first, and then I had a kid come up and link arms with me, and then we said it together, and then another kid came up. We made a chain, and I know a linking verb only links 2 words, but the point was that we were coming up and linking together, and they were each adding on. So I just went through and we said it. So the next person would come up and we would link, and we said assertion together several times. So they were saying that word, and we, at the end, I was making sure they were saying 2 words. So that's what we did for English. For Latin, we sat on the floor, and I got my footballs out that I also used for orchestra today. I found these at the dollar store. They're like the squishy, foamy that goes back into its shape things. And so I used this for my hot potato today, and we just passed it around while we did our Latin, just like we did last week, but my kids love doing it. They, for some reason, like to end up with the hot potato and have to do an exercise, which if you're like me, I avoid doing exercise as much as possible, but they like to do that. So yeah, we just passed it around and sang it. I mean, you don't have to sing it. Like when I play Duck Duck Latin, I try to tap on the words, but with this I just sing it, and we pass it around as much as we can. So that was Latin. Let's see, history. We listened to the song one time through, and then we got up and danced to it. They really like dancing to it. And this one is, I mean, it's Livin' La Vida Loca, which is funny to me because it's totally Livin' La Vida Loca, but that's fine. So we danced to that and just had fun time dancing to it. At the end, I stopped and made sure that they were saying land and liberty, because it goes so fast it's hard for them to hear all the words. So I just made sure they were getting that part, land and liberty. For timeline, we've got Australia becomes a Commonwealth. So my signs that I'm getting are from the CC website. They have weekly timeline videos, so I take them directly from there. I know that there are some other videos out there. The ones that I do are the official ones, for whatever that means to you. These are the official ones that CC would like to start using across the board, so we all have the same sign. So that's what I'm using, and that's why I'm using them. So we have Australia. So the sign for Australia is really fun because it's actually the sign for a kangaroo. So you're going to have your hands kind of pointed down, and you're going to be touching your middle finger to your thumb, and you're going to act like you're picking up something, hopping it forward, and dropping it. So you're going to go like this. Australia becomes a Commonwealth. Okay. So, and that's also the sign for kangaroo. So now you know the sign for kangaroo. Australia becomes a Commonwealth. Then we have Mexican Revolution. We are going to take our hand like an M, but we're going to take 3 fingers, and we're going to comb one side of our mustache. I feel very villainous doing this sign, but this is the Mexican. So this is a sign for Mexican. And then we're going to do revolution, just like this. All right. So then we have World War I. So just like the abbreviation, we're going to make it WW1, World War I. And then President, well, so we're going to do signs for president, which is you have your hands up, and then you're going to bring them out and close. Actually, they're back, sorry. Back your hands out, up here, and then you bring them out and almost kind of be like you're making muscles, but have your fist pointed forward instead of inward like muscles. So, okay, so President Wilson, that's a sign for president. Lenin and the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. So we're going to have an L for Lenin, okay? And then revolution again. We're not going to do a sign for the Bolshevik because it says pretty fast. So revolution. And in Russia, you can't ever see this. I hate this. So Russia, pretend this is down on my hips. You take your hands and you hit your hips like this. You can't see what I'm doing, but know that I'm doing that, okay? So you hit your hips down here for Russia. Kind of like if you think about the dancers like holding their hips and kicking their feet out. That's what I'm doing. So Lenin, Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, right? U.S. evangelist Billy Graham, we're going to take our words and we're going to take them to everyone. So screen's not big enough for this either. So you're going to point to your mouth, and then as you come out, you're going to put your flat hands out. So like you're getting the word out to everyone. And then we're going to do a B for Billy and a G. A G looks like you're getting ready to pinch something, but you keep your hand open and your hand is up and down. All right, modern period of the arts. So we're going to make a kind of a line. This is for an individual. This is like one thing, okay? Like that, okay? So modern period of the arts, and the arts are really chaotic. So we're going to take one hand, face the other hand. We're going to go around like this because it was crazy. And the picture on the timeline cards, if you use them, make sure you show them that because it's a crazy picture. There's colors everywhere, okay? So modern period of the arts. The Great Depression and the New Deal. So we're going to bring our hands down because it was depressed. So the Great Depression and the New Deal is fun. You just act like you're dealing cards out, okay? So that was timeline for this week. Really quickly, I want to put a plug in for squishy balls for the littles during orchestra. If you make sure to let them know that they can't be thrown if you catch them throwing them. Not that my son would ever do that during class. Then you take them away, but they worked really well just to give them something to do with their hands that wasn't distracting from listening. And also I'd like to recommend this book. It's an Usborne book. It's The Famous Composers, and it has all of our composers, I think, for every cycle. I definitely know that it has for cycle, for this cycle and for cycle 3, because that's what we just did. I think it has everybody for cycle 2, but just to give you a peek inside what it looks like. So this was Handel, who we did today. So it's got some nice pictures, has a little like nice biography blurb, and then a few other little blurbs about his life. It also has, not that we would use this in class, but for at home, it does have these QR codes like for Bach that you can scan, and it will play pieces of music by those. So anyway, like I said, it's got Handel, Bach, and Mozart, I believe, is right there. So there's Mozart, and there's Beethoven for next cycle, I believe. So yeah, it was really nice. I don't know, the kids just like to have a little visual when we're reading through it. And so yeah, I also like to print off for my reference to use. They're actually for, I think they say I think they're under on CC Connected. If you have a subscription, they're under trifold board printouts, I think is what they're under. But they're 8.5 by 11 pages that are supposed to go when I guess people were printing stuff, but I hang them up at home. The music ones I just print out to use in class, but it's just a really nice little biography with a picture of Handel. I'll show you what they looked like. So like this was last week, is just a little bit intro to Baroque and Classic, and it had each of the composers, just a little bit about it. This has been updated for this cycle, so it does go in the order. The orchestra overview looks like this, and then the review and celebration has some stuff on it. So this isn't necessarily something that I always read in class. I do like to read it beforehand. I do like having these printouts, the art printouts for when we do famous artists, because it usually has a pretty good assortment of pictures of the person's art. So anyway, this video has gone extra long. I'm very sorry about that. Hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you back next week with week 21. Bye, guys.